Welcome to another edition of Seattle Apartment News. I'm Matt Johnston with Andersen Multifamily Team. Today I am joined by Avi Belur. He is the co-founder of LoftxAi. Why don't you share a little bit about the origin story of LoftxAi, what led you to create the company, and what you guys are focused on today?
Thanks a lot, Matt. I'm basically Avi Belur. In terms of the origin of the company, I just wanted to share with you that, first of all, I'm very passionate about rental, long-term rental. I do believe that people can generate generational wealth in that. I'm an immigrant originally from India, and my parents in India have also done that, where they've invested in rentals.
Awesome.
And I also am a big believer in technology and AI. And I believe that when technology applied to this industry, it can be basically a force multiplier. And that kind of led me to start thinking about what I want to do next when I was working at Google. And I talked to people in this industry, people who are having SMB businesses, and they were operators, property managers. One thing that came across was there's a ton of data that they're sitting on, but they want to get insights from the data, and they want to use this insight to make important operational decisions, important revenue decisions. And that kind of led me to start this company called LoftxAi. I basically partnered with a friend of mine who I worked with in Expedia.
Awesome.
And we both started this company about a year ago in April of 2025. And so far, what we have seen is, our customers are giving great reviews and great feedback. With this interview, I would also like to talk to some of your customers and see if you can help them and assist them.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited for the conversation today to get into more of the specifics about your journey with the company so far and how our audience might be able to benefit from your product. So, Avi, why don't you share with our audience a little bit about LoftxAi, how you're leveraging AI to help multifamily property managers, owners, and operators?
Thank you. It's actually a great question. So, LoftxAi focuses on assisting property managers, owner operators, and asset managers with revenue and operational intelligence. And we do this with, basically the leverage of AI agents and also advanced analytics. So overall, you can think of LoftxAi as a tool that integrates with your property management software. And also it is using only publicly available data and your own proprietary data. And we built this product with security and privacy in mind. So we never share your data with any of your other customers or the other way around.
In terms of onboarding a property or a portfolio of properties to be able to start using your product, what does that integration look like? Do you see your product as a replacement for softwares like AppFolio or an integration or an add-on? How do you look at that?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Today, what we do is we are a complement to AppFolio or Rent Manager or Yardi, etc. So we understand these people have worked for many decades. So we partner with them, and we want to make sure that when basically our customers start using our software, there is a uniform experience that they have. What I mean by that is we are not a one-off product where they have to punch in their units, etc. So we integrate, and if you're using AppFolio, for example, the example you gave, within a week we can onboard on AppFolio.
A week, okay.
Or basically less than a week.
Yeah.
And the moment you onboard, we start doing the market research, and you start seeing what are the active rents that are there at a unit level. And this is something that we are first in the industry to do that. You can also look at what got rented in the last 30 days. And the thing to keep in mind is your tenants and prospects are using AI today to do the research themselves. So having a tool like this will help you be lockstep with the market expectation, so that you're meeting your prospects and your tenants, where they are at.
Yeah.
And that's very important to keep them happy and increase your, basically renewals and also getting great tenants.
Awesome. Well, so I know you're relatively early in your life cycle of launching the product and things like that. What are, I guess, the feedback that you're hearing from early adopters or some measurable outcomes that they're seeing in their portfolios as far as key metrics that they're seeing improvement on?
Yeah, I'll actually give some examples so that it can make sense. I think from a high level perspective, they are seeing improvement in their top line and bottom line.
Okay.
I'll give an example of one of our early adopters. They're local here, they're family operated, and they're syndicators as well. Before LoftxAi entered, they had a team in Philippines, and the team in Philippines was doing the market research using public sites. They were putting together all of the comps at a building level. They would do it overnight, in the Philippines time, and then they would share that information with the owner,
In order
via email
to set rents and
in
things.
order to set rent, in order to understand what is the market expecting.
Yeah.
And this is all done in an Excel sheet. And this went back and forth for multiple weeks sometimes.
Yeah.
And they would do it maybe once a quarter. If they have more resources, maybe once a month. And this took them like more than 40, 60 hours, a month to do this research, etc.
Yeah.
When they started using LoftxAi, we immediately started doing this research just a human would do. So we took away the laborious, error-prone approach of like them doing all of the research, which is very cumbersome, to be honest, like going through websites, etc. So we are looking at publicly available data. I want to be very clear. We take care of our customers' data privacy seriously. We never share that with any other customers, and we just look at the publicly available data. So once they start using us, it saved them upwards of 40 to 60 hours in terms of the cost that they had from the human resource.
Yeah.
And they were using those human resources now to talk to their existing tenants and dealing with that. Another example is a large property management company in Seattle. They have multiple property managers across their team. They wanted to ensure that the compliance is there as far as renewal. And this is very important, especially when the industry in the property management industry is moving towards centralized pricing.
Yeah.
So they wanted their property managers having the ability to talk to the asset managers to set the right price. A tool like ours helped them to kind of plan these things, pre-plan, before they send the renewal. So the property manager would work very closely with asset managers to kind of agree on the pricing. And while they were doing that, the tool helps them understand what is the max rent they can increase it to. It also understands if a tenant has moved in within the last 1 year, they cannot increase the rent. Stuff like that help them reduce their risk due to compliance.
Awesome. Curious in terms of what you're seeing as far as future product roadmap for enhancements or add-ons, or just the emerging trends in AI, and how you plan to capitalize and further build out the product.
Yeah. From basically with our standpoint, we work with our customers very closely to understand what their pain points are. One of the areas that we have started investing and started already delivering this is around benchmarking within your own portfolio. So for example, today, if you're an asset manager or even a property manager, on behalf of the asset manager, you want to know what is the operating expense ratios are for each of your buildings. And that's very important because your asset managers are buying this with a certain expectation on NOI and expense ratios, etc.
Yeah.
So we have started investing where you can do benchmarking within our product, and we're benchmarking within the portfolio that you have. There's not benchmarking with the industry yet.
Yeah.
So that's one area we are starting to invest in. The other area we are starting to invest in is we understand that the relationship property management company or an asset manager has with their investor is very important. So the owner packet that they deliver needs to be also very interactive. So we are starting to invest in AI, where this owner packets not only just has grids and tables, but it also includes key insights based on the data that they have. For example, if the utility bill went up in a specific quarter, you want either a human or an AI to call that out, and a human to verify that it did happen.
Why. Yeah.
Explain why, so that the investor knows that, hey, my assets are doing well, and the people who are managing my assets do understand like what went up, what went down. And I think they are knowing it. It's a matter of like packaging those things. So we are working on building this owner package, owner report in a much more interactive way. So that's another area. I think beyond that, it just, you asked like the general trend in AI. I think one of the things that I see with the AI is, the cost curve will start going down, in my opinion. You're already seeing companies who have the SaaS model, they're getting beaten down in the market, in the public market.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that will definitely be a big change in the coming years. And basically another area where I see AI playing a role is in physical AI. Property management in general is very labor intensive.
Yeah.
So there is opportunity where those kind of investments will start paying off. from our perspective, we are focused on revenue and operational intelligence, data analytics. So we're going to double down on that and use AI and deliver actionable insights to our customers.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think that you're touching on things that will resonate with our audience quite a bit. I mean, having been um, in the Seattle market specifically, I can't speak as much to other markets, but there are challenges in terms of increasing your NOI on the income side of things because of the legislative climate. You can only raise rent so much. And then also the supply, like we talked about, has prevented a little bit of rent growth. We're starting to see that come back. So if you're able to track your expenses more closely, that's one side of the equation that you could try to trim and improve your NOI. And then having been, an investor as well as a broker, but on the investor side of things, it'd be great to, when you see a report come in from the GP and have a better understanding when you look at that report of what happened this quarter, why are expenses up or why are rents down, or what the plan is moving forward. It'd be great to be able to have a little bit more insight into those things,
Absolutely.
utilizing products like yours. So
Yeah, absolutely.
curious in terms of the multifamily landscape, generally speaking, just how you see AI changing not only multifamily leasing, but portfolio management over the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think from a portfolio management, as I mentioned, with AI and in general, the trend has been like things around pricing decisions are made at a central location, especially when you have large set of portfolios across different states. I think AI will play a key role there. AI will start helping with underwriting. I'm looking at that as an opportunity that will emerge.
Yeah.
When I say underwriting, you want to know like what is the max rent you can get, especially in a market like Seattle. You have to understand, the compliance requirement, etc., as you're baking into your formulas. So those are some things that I see where AI will play a role. But overall, I do see a healthy growth in multifamily. It's required. There is this housing shortage in general, especially in places like Seattle,
Yeah.
where there is influx of people. I think it will have a healthy growth. I think the important thing here is to understand what the market is expecting, so that your pricing and your specials are aligned with what your customers are expecting. And that's kind of where we come in, where we can offer that for a smaller operator or basically a larger operator today.
So, Avi, for multifamily owners or operators, say that have portfolios between 50 and 200 units, how do you foresee them getting the most value out of your product on a day-to-day basis?
This is actually a great question. So, one of the ways the owners who are in this range can get benefit from our product is, number one, they can get what is the market comps looks like, and we are doing it on a weekly basis, daily basis, so they can get active listing. They can understand what happened in the last 30 days. They can know what specials are running. So it basically helps them to be aligned with the market expectation. So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two is we have also building basically communication tool, so that they can plan this, renewals and the vacancy rents with their asset managers or owners within our product. So rather than using an email to send back and forth, which is hard to manage, they can use our product to send their proposed rent. And if they need an approval from the owner can put their comments or their own rents, and everything can be tracked within our product. And with the tenants, you can do the same thing, where you can propose the new rent before you actually send them a renewal, and you can get a signal from them whether they're interested or not. You can set reminders saying that, hey, we need a response within X number of days. Some of these things are kind of done in property management software, but think of this as a pre-planning work before you send the actual renewal lease, where you're planning with your owner, where you're planning with your tenants, so that once you get that approval, you have a higher chance of getting a renewal.
That's great. Yeah, I think the automation and communication would be a big problem solver. That's one of the biggest complaints that we hear sometimes from owners, is that the communication back and forth between their property manager sometimes is less than what they would desire. And so the fact that your product could help solve that, I think, is exciting.
Yeah. And if you have clients who are interested in that, they can sign up on our website. We are offering a free, basically 1 month trial. You can go to basically www.loftx.ai and you can sign up there.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time today, Avi, and thank you for watching for another edition of Seattle Apartment News. And like Avi said, please reach out to him if you'd like to learn more about his product.
Thank you.